So Kanye has been on this big media campaign. He is promoting his presidency, but the main topic of the interviews have been his comments on record labels and media executives, calling them the Jewish media, and saying he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. All of the interviews have been Kanye going back and forth with the interviewer. Then I opened my YouTube app and saw a video that I would have never expected. Kanye and Lex Fridman. Lex Fridman is a Russian-American computer scientist. He is an artificial intelligence researcher and a host for the Lex Fridman podcast.
A row of urinals. A guy just walks all the way across.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And he tells you about crypto.
So once I saw Lex was talking to Kanye, I had to tune in. Now, there are 3 things that I want to discuss from their 2-hour conversation. There was a lot of valuable dialogue in this conversation, but these 3 talking points have gave me the most to think about.
That's the only thing that we really need to teach in school is engineering. We don't need to teach history. We don't need to teach anything that is subjective. It needs to only be engineering taught in school, and everything else needs to be recessed. Any forced subjective information is just to weaken and indoctrinate our species, and that's what schools do now.
Kanye started the video off making bold claims, stating that only engineering should be taught in schools, which I actually think is a pretty sound idea. Like, that's not a crazy take. He then goes on to say schools are only made to indoctrinate, which I also agree with. Then he follows up with history is pointless. Lex Fridman pushed back on Kanye's statement about history.
The interpretation of history might be subjective, but history has some facts, and they're useful to give a grounding to the way you do engineering.
Saying that history is a valuable tool for learning. Using engineering as an example, where learning from the past is highly valuable. Say what you engineer malfunction or blows up. It is important to have historical data on what went wrong and why that happened so you can use it in the future. Then, based off that history of your past projects, your future projects won't experience that same issue. Kanye says that history is subjective, and nothing subjective should be taught in school.
Any forced subjective information is just to weaken and indoctrinate our species, and that's what schools do now.
He has mentioned how he has seen something happen. The news reports on the same day reported that wrong, saying if we can't be sure about recent history, how can we be sure of what happened 100 years ago? Ye says the only thing we can agree upon is the now. Now, I do not believe that history is pointless. History can be applied to our lives if used as a tool. The past has a lot of value in it. Like Lex Fridman said, you need history to apply to your engineering. But history is almost applicable to everything in a sense. Creativity can even be influenced by history. Say you're exposed to a lot of programming, all right? Whatever programming, music, shows, people, environment, you know, all that, right? Go watch a programming video if you don't know what I'm talking about. An idea can sprout from the programming or the context that surrounds your life. It can grow from the history of what you're exposed to. And you should know that your influences over time influence creativity. Think about all the songs that he has sampled over the years. That's him taking stuff that he has heard and using it to make his own creative output, which is probably the main way that ideas happen. That's how a lot of my ideas happen. Like, I get input and then it just kind of amalgamates. And our minds literally shape and form over history. Think about people who go through traumatic events. They literally have PTSD because they went through such a traumatic historical event in their life that they were forever altered by it. Ye even mentions later in the video, with all that's happened to him, he feels invincible, like they can't throw anything more at him, stating himself that he has grown through history.
That hurt you, the Drink Champs, that Noah took down your conversation?
No.
It didn't hurt you? Man, you got to be honest about the pain.
We're still the kids we used to be. I put my hand on the stove to see if I still bleed. And nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free. The day I had Sunday service, my kids are supposed to be there, and my kids were nowhere to be found. And I text Kim and said, "Where are my kids?" We get into an argument, and then I get a text from a number I don't know, and it's Pete Davidson bragging about being in bed with my wife.
But don't worry, Ye admits to contradicting himself a lot.
I wanted to, put that point together, put that idea together. I don't like the word point. I'm really big on like words being powerful, says the person with the sleepy tweet.
Yeah.
So
you're full of contradictions.
Yeah, I'm a human being, right? It's like some days I'm like, I could go 30 days to be celibate, you know, like really like I'm a monk. I'm being like faithful to God. And then I'll go like working out, no carbs, like my weight will fluctuate. And I'll have times I'm like, I don't feel like being told what to do. So I don't want to work out with a trainer. And I just want to drink this Hennessy.
You are a human being with engineering opportunities before you.
So you're a human being with engineering challenges before you, with STEM player, with parlor. What's the hardest thing in front of you on the engineering front?
That's the first sentence that any of our species needs to hear when they're born. You are a human being with engineering challenges, and I consider challenges to be opportunities in front of you.
Yeah.
Literally, like, let me see a piece of paper. I need to write that down. That's the beginning
That's a good line.
of our new species constitution.
Like, obviously, a baby would not understand the words, you are a human being with engineering opportunities before you. But what I interpreted this as wasn't so literal. The main thing that we should be doing is conditioning our young to solve problems. Solving problems that bring about the betterment of mankind. Using science to push forward. Cultivating new and better ways of living. And I like how Ye rephrased the statement. It was originally engineering challenges, but he switched it to engineering opportunities. Not only are challenges opportunities to grow in an individual sense, like training really hard to achieve a skill, but it can also be the collective growing through challenge. Ye's telling the kids to improve themselves and the group. Both of these challenges are opportunities for better. Both add more good into the world. If your life starts doing good and the rest of the world doesn't change, objectively the world is better. Ye is saying we have opportunities to solve the issues in this world. And that's what the collective from birth should be focused on.
What do you hope your legacy is?
To be forgotten.
Do you think you'll be forgotten?
Because there's ego in memory, in the memories. Who designed the sidewalk? Who designed the water fountain? Who designed the stop sign? Who designed the stoplight? These things are so ubiquitous that the person that designed them is forgotten.
Lex asked Ye what he hoped for his legacy to be, and Ye responded with, to be forgotten, referring to how all the things that are fundamental to how our society works operate on their own. The impact of the creator and their ideas permeate through time, devoid from the creator's name or human attachment. Letting go of the ego and dying, leaving a mark that will outlast any name. Damn.
Yeah, but Nazis are like kind of cool.
Because you liked your uniforms.